Alright you guys, and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to take a look at Starlancer TAC. This is a hotly anticipated ship, kind of one of the headliners of this year's Invictus. So let's jump right into it. CIG just recently released a little trailer for the ship. Very cool. I always like to see the gameplay capture team get in the engine and work their magic. Really and truly, it would be cool if they made a show for Star Citizen. Honestly, I think a lot of people would watch it. They do such a good job at kind of painting a picture of what you can do with some of these ships, right? Not always completely realistic, right? But fun to see nonetheless. So let's get right into this ship here. So we have the video right here. As you could see, the soldiers leaving the drop seats. Kind of another photo here, striking at the hammerhead and the colors black. See battlefield support. You got all the troops leaving from there either side. And then those two turrets with those two size 5s on it. I think a lot of people are very interested in this ship. Here's the weapons turrets, suit lockers, your habitation area, the med bay. The bay area looks really good. Drop seats again, another angle of it. Escape pod area. Here are the bunks, right? And then we have the cargo area. Interestingly enough, during the video for this ship, they showed mech suits leaving this area. So the mech suits were on the cargo grid on either side here. I don't, I'm not saying that they're going to snap to this cargo grid or anything like that, but this is a good area to store them, right? And then you can have them walk out the back there and get into the battle. So what do we have for paints? We've got the standard paint here, tactical gray. Then we have the Tellius. This is kind of like a black and a green. Then we have the bonfire, right? So we got red, a black stripe there, gray on top. This looks really good. I'm not gonna lie. This looks really cool. I hope it's also compatible with the Starlancer Max. Then we have the Atlantic. This is black with this yellow stripe here. Not too bad, but very similar to the factory one. And then of course we have the Mojave. Now this is also compatible with the Starlancer Max, so I wouldn't be surprised if all of these paints were also compatible with the Starlancer Max, right? Really good to see. I like all of these paints. So we have the metrics here, 83 meters long, about the same size as the Starlancer Max because it uses the same hull, right? 8 crew, 8 jump seats, 96 SU cargo on grid. Of course, you can also store off grid. And then we have 2 size 3 shields. Alright, so now let's take a look at the price. So we got War Bond offers first. Starlancer TAC with 10-year insurance, $340. Then Starlancer Twin Pack, also 10-year insurance. This is Starlancer Max and the Starlancer TAC for $535. Then we have the Starlancer TAC and Fury Pack, 10-year insurance for $365. These are all war bonds, so that means that you have to put in new money. So they are a little bit cheaper than store credit. Then we have the store credit offers, $375 with 10-year insurance. So kind of the benefit with using store credit in this situation is that you still get that 10-year insurance because of Invictus. Then the Twin Pack is $595, and the TAC and the Fury Pack is $400, right? So those are the packs there. Yep, that's all of them. So it has gone up in price a little bit, but again, that's as expected. As a ship moves from concept to straight to flyable, it does go up in price a little bit. So this kind of is on par now with the price of the Valkyrie, and in my opinion, that is still very competitive for everything that this ship offers. Now we can take a look at the paints, the 7 paint pack. This is if you are a concierge member, right? And it comes with all of the paints for $40. Then you have the Pacific paint, which is another concierge paint for $7.50. The Mojave paint, another concierge paint for $7.50. And then you have the 5 paint pack. These are all the other paints. Now there is another paint aside from all of these, the sapphire paint, which was a IE exclusive. So that paint color is not being sold here, right? So the only, if you wanted that sapphire paint, you had to have bought it during IE. The concierge paints for the Max and the TAC are the Pacific paint for the Max and the Mojave paint for the TAC. But of course, these two paints work on either ship, which is good to see. And then of course, with, you know, the full pack, you get all of them except that sapphire paint. So you also have the upgrade there if you want to get into that. And I think it's pretty interesting. I think, you know, if we look closely here, you can kind of see the combat mechs. Of course, you can see them at Wicklow's, but that's kind of interesting, right? So you've got your crew there, and you've got the Furies. Now, people have tested the hangar, and apparently you can fit 2 Furies in here. So if you wanted to take the missile variant of the Fury and the regular variant of the Fury, you might be able to fit that in the hangar. And then, of course, your mech suits in the vehicle area. I don't know why they're showing these vehicles back here. You cannot fit a Centurion in the TAC, but you know, that's all kind of part of the ground operations that you could do with this ship. Very cool looking. Let's go take a look at the specs real quick. Weapons is the big thing here. So pilot control, you have 4 size 4s for the pilot. In terms of turrets, you've got 2 remote turrets with 2 size 4s on them, 2 man turrets with 2 size 5s on them, and 2 door mounted guns with 1 size 1 on them. Then in terms of missiles, you have 2 remote turrets with 6 size 2 missiles on them. And there's a camera at the back, so you can kind of use that to target the missiles. These missile launchers are not PDCs, basically. But yeah, I think that this ship is extremely competitive in terms of price, but it comes down to what you want to use it for, right? This ship, in my opinion, is kind of a great all-around ship. You could use it for exploration. You can use it, of course, for those ground tactical operations. I know a lot of people are going to do that, right? But it's not, I would say, the best suited for one specific thing, right? For a drop ship, I actually think it's pretty good. It's well priced in comparison to other drop ships, like the Prowler, for instance, right? A lot of people like the Prowler as a drop ship because it has those air shields, but it's very expensive for what it is. So this is in a good price range where it has that Fury hangar, it has a good habitation area, it has those drop seats, it has a lot of guns and turrets, it has good shields, it has, you know, a lot of cargo area. So if you want to do a little bit of cargo running, you can do that. Vehicle garage area, you can, you know, put the mechs inside of there. And it has the med bay. So if you want to use this as an exploration vehicle, exploration ship, it'll also be good for that because you have those med bays for respawning, the garage for, you know, the ground vehicles, cargo area. And again, the habitation, in my opinion, is not too diminished. You still have a, you know, huge counter, kitchen area, place to sit down and plan all of your missions, you know, beds for everyone in your crew to log out in. You know, with the Starlancer Max, you have those big double beds. You don't really need all of that. It's, you know, that's good, a nice thing to have. I like the Starlancer Max as a ship, but I think that the interior space on the TAC is more well utilized, right? they laid everything out well, that nothing is claustrophobic, but it still has everything you would want to do whatever you want to do in the verse, right? The next ship up, I would say that this ship kind of compares to a little bit, would probably be the 600i after they do the rework, right? Because the 600i is also getting a med bay. It is also going to be able, it's going to have a larger vehicle area, right, where you can park a tank in it. The cargo room is going to be above, so it's probably going to have a little bit less cargo than this, right? It does have that armory again, a lot of creature comforts for the crew, but similar features, but you don't have the drop seats, right? You don't have the same kind of turrets that this has. So I think that if you want something cheaper than the 600i Explorer, this is a good option, right? This is almost $100 cheaper than 600i Explorer. And it has very similar pilot control DPS, where the 600i Explorer has 3 size 5s and this has 4 size 4s. So, you know, you're not really sacrificing too much in terms of deciding between these two ships. So I think the Starlancer TAC is a very good option. I want to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you going to be picking up this ship? Are you waiting for something else? This is not exactly what you've been looking for. Maybe you want a little bit more space for ground vehicles like the tank, for instance. And again, if you want to be able to carry a tank and have, you know, a medical area, the 600i probably is a little bit of a better option if you don't absolutely need those jump seats. But I think that this is a very competitive ship. It really steps the bar up in terms of what you can get for money, in my personal opinion, if you are using real money. And again, keep in mind, this is only if you want to support the project. All ships will be available to purchase in-game and craft in-game. You'll be able to craft higher tier versions of this ship, right? So you're buying this if you want to support the project, if you have the income for it. You know, don't ever feel like, you know, you need the newest and greatest thing. I think CIG is really starting to figure out the formula for what players want and what this game needs, and they're really starting to make ships more in line with the gameplay that the game is evolving into. So that's my feedback. That's going to be it for me in this video, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me again. I really appreciate all the support you guys have been showing on the videos. It really means a lot to me. You guys have been really knocking it out of the park, and it, you know, I can't thank you enough. But like I say at the end of all these videos, you guys, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Salut!